Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the We Are Not Lonely podcast. So, it's been a while. I'm doing this thing on Friday. This is not what I expected. So, what's happened is I was actually sick for a really long time. For the past 20 days or so, I had a really bad allergy, which meant that I had allergic rhinitis. So, runny nose, itchy eyes, I was sneezing all the time. And because of that, I decided not to record on Sunday. That was one of the reasons. The other reason was that I was really busy playing Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. Okay, it's been, I don't even know how long it's been. Like, it's been a couple of days, I guess, since I bought Spider-Man. I'm already at like 89% of the story. I'm almost done with the entire story. So, yeah, I just want to say, like, I've been having a grand time. I haven't had this much fun playing a game since I haven't had this much fun playing a game since I played Genshin Impact back in the day, right? I think I got this on the 2nd of July, so it's been a week. It's been 8 days. So yeah, I've been playing it consistently. I have racked up, let me see how many hours. These are like peak unemployment activities, huh? Like, I haven't played a game properly for a really long time, and I've been eyeing Spider-Man for such a long time, to be fair. Like, I've been looking at it for a really long time. And what happened was I noticed that Spider-Man had like an offer going on, right? Last 2 weeks, 35.2 hours. I've spent that much time playing this particular game. I've spent 35.2 hours playing this game. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. I will say that much. It's like a brilliant game. The combat is awesome. The most fun part of the entire thing is actually swinging through the entire city. That's what was incredible. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I will admit. Okay, so yeah, like, it's been crazy. I've spent the last couple of days just playing that, and I was sick as well. Like, peak unemployment. I've been playing it for like 5-6 hours every day, as you can see, like, by the total hours played. So all in all, I enjoy the game. The story is pretty cool. I'm not done with the story yet. I haven't even completed the main campaign. I'm like 90% of the way through. I'm probably gonna be like wrapping it up over the next couple of days. It would have been killer if I had been employed when I got this particular game, because then I would have been playing it for a couple of months. I've just been thinking about the state of gaming over the last couple of years. So this particular game came out in 2018. It's worth like 4K on Steam, but I got it on a discount. Like, there was a 60% discount and I immediately snatched it up. So it came out in 2018 and it's still that expensive, right? That's the incredible part. And I think the most famous game after that, like, I haven't played Elden Ring. Like, I mean to play it eventually. It came out in 2022. It's an RPG as well, and it won Game of the Year. This is one of the games that I'm probably gonna have to get a new PC for, because my PC is now 10 years old. I don't know how it's managing. I'm incredibly grateful for the work it's putting in. To be fair, like, I don't put it through much. It's just a lot of editing. It's just a lot of drawing. That's all, like, I do on my PC. So I'm definitely gonna have to get a new gaming PC, just to play Elden Ring, even though it came out in 2022, because at that point my PC was like 6 years old. It's hard to believe that my PC is 10 years old. It feels like almost yesterday that I just started my MBA. God damn, dude. Yeah. So Elden Ring is one of the most raved about games, but I don't know, like, what are the most popular games. So some of the other games that are doing really well, there's Baldur's Gate, and like I said, Elden Ring. Like, I just did a search, right? Red Dead Redemption is supposed to be an incredible game. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, I have it on my PC. For some reason, I just can't get into it. Like, I like games where I feel like an invincible killing machine, right? It was difficult in the beginning, like in Spider-Man, because I kept dying. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and like in the beginning it was quite difficult, but then I eventually like learned how to get better at the game, and like I'm a combat god right now. Like I still die eventually. I do have to admit that truth, right? I still die to random like mobs, and not even bosses. Bosses, like I keep dying a couple of times, but I still die to a couple of mobs every once in a while. So the difficulty is still right up there. Like, you know, it's not like, even though I've increased my, what do you call it, my character's abilities and the strength and the melee damage and all of that, and even the HP has gone up at least twice right now, but even then I die occasionally in Spider-Man. But all in all, the combat is incredible. Like, you know, it makes so much sense that as you're playing you can just swing away and then swing back and then just like attack. The whole web aspect of, like, you know, you can web enemies up, you can catch them, you can pull them, you can throw them, you can spin them around, and the whole game is set in New York, right? It's supposed to be set in New York, so the game is in New York City. And initially I thought, like, hey, you know what, like maybe the game is like a one-on-one replica of the original city, and or maybe I'll just swing around and eventually I'll know enough of the city, and when I go to New York I'll recognize places. But then I looked it up and apparently that's not the case. That they've actually shrunk the city to almost 1/5 of its original size. They cut down on a lot of areas, but they do have like essential landmarks. And of course, considering the fact that this is like in the Marvel universe, they also have included certain aspects of, like, there's a Sanctum Sanctorum part of the thing. Like, none of the other heroes ever show up and all that, but yeah, the game is fun, man, especially in Act 3. Spoilers, but I'm just saying, because it's been 6 years, 8 years since the game came out. 2018, it's been 8 years since the game came out, so you can't really get mad at me for spoiling an 8-year-old game. Yeah, cool. So, like, there's this whole thing where, so, like, okay, let me just get into the story. Like, most of the story is just Spider-Man going around the city. He's an apprentice, he's an intern at Octavius Industries. They're working on like a revolutionary new robot arm, like prosthetics. And the whole reason that Peter actually chose to work with Dr. Octavius is because, you know, he believed that Dr. Octavius's work could change humanity and all of that. So as the story goes on, things pop up. Like, Norman Osborn is the mayor of New York City, and he ends up getting Otto Octavius's lab shut down because he had done some infringements. He didn't follow the rules, the protocols, safety protocols and all of that, some nonsense. So it's basically him abusing his power to shut down a competitor. That's basically what Norman does. And you can see Otto Octavius is actually suffering from like a disease where he loses control of his limbs. That's one of the reasons that he's so invested in creating this new prosthetic. So as the game goes on, you can see little hints of like how Otto is being, shall we say, Otto is going to the dark side, so to speak, right? But initially, the beginning of the entire story starts off with this conflict against Mr. Negative. Like, there's this guy called Martin Lee. Yeah, Mr. Negative. He's a comic book character. So he actually has, the interesting thing is Mr. Negative actually has like this whole charity where May works at, Aunt May. And like part of the story is him meeting with Mr. Negative, Martin Lee, every once in a while. The initial story is about a battle against Mr. Negative, and like, you know, like around 50% to 60%, when the campaign is 50 or 60% done, it ends with Mr. Negative being put into a prison cell, into the prison cell for the superpowered aliens and all of that, right? But then comes the plot twist, because there's a break-in at the prison, and there's a riot at the prison, and Spider-Man goes to help. And what happens is, not just the regular prisoners have rioted, like even the super powered prisoners have rioted, and it turns out that Dr. Otto Octavius is the person behind all of this. And this is actually like my favorite part of the game, because until now, like, you could just swing around the city, it was very peaceful. There were enemies in certain areas, right? Like the first part of the game is the game begins with you shutting down Kingpin, putting Kingpin behind bars. So the initial part of the game is battles against Kingpin's goons, shutting their operations down so that, you know, Kingpin doesn't have access to his funds and all of that. And Kingpin actually warns Peter Parker. He's like, hey, you don't know what kind of filth I've been keeping in check. You don't know the kind of evil that I've been keeping in check. And now that I'm gone, there are going to be other people who are going to be stepping into the thing. And J. Jonah Jameson does the exact same thing. He talks about how Kingpin actually kept all of the other crooks in power, and how crime is worsening because Kingpin is no longer part of the whole situation, right? And initially the side missions are just like, you know, you're shutting down drug deals. Spider-Man passes by, like not exactly kills, because Spidey has a no-kill policy, right? But in the game, you actually like throw people off like buildings and all that. I don't know how that works. I don't know how Spider-Man can have a no-kill policy when you've literally thrown people off, kicked people off a building that's like at least 30 to 50 to 70 to 100 stories high. Right, so initially it's a bunch of like, you know, you shut down Wilson Fisk's thugs, a couple of car chases, things like that. And as the game progresses, the new antagonists, Martin Lee and his demons, you know, they have masks of demon, like Chinese demon masks on them, and they have like really weird powers, right? And that's the second part. And as the game progresses, Norman Osborn calls in like a private, military enforcer called Sable. And you start to see Sable putting up like checkpoints, and they start setting up shop all over the city. Like, this is all like looking back at the entire story, the entire Act 3 has been really well built up towards. Let me rephrase that. Act 3 was like, the story is very well written, and Act 3 doesn't happen out of the blue. Okay, so when Otto Octavius actually attacks the prison and releases the violent prisoners, what happens is the prisoners escape and they set up all over the city. Now, at the same time, Sable is all over the city as well, and they end up becoming Spider-Man's enemies at the same time. So not only are you fighting demons, you're also fighting escaped prisoners, you're also fighting Sable guards, and like the mission is about you fighting against the main villains, right? So it's incredible. Like, I enjoyed this last aspect over the last couple of days, especially because that's when I unlocked Act 3. Enemies all over the place, and it gave me a lot of ideas for the game itself, because like, and it gave me a lot of ideas for other projects, right? Because this whole chaos, this entire like city being filled with enemies that you have to fight off, that's something that I have been meaning to work on for like the longest time. So that's about it for Spider-Man Remastered. Like, it's incredible. The story is really well written. The game progresses really well. The missions, like, I do have like a small, shall we say, complaint. I do not like the stealth missions. I like, it's doable, it's not that difficult, but I do not enjoy them. Okay, like, there are certain parts where you play as Mary Jane, and There are other parts where you play as Miles, and supposedly this whole thing is building up towards Miles becoming a Spider-Man as well, which is very interesting, and that's what the part two, like Spider-Man part two, Spider-Man 2 is all about. Like it's about you play as Miles, you play as Spider-Man as well. So the game is quite good. I really like the suit designs. I have a couple of favorites. One is like the hybrid suit, which is basically like the Stark suit. Okay, and the other is the advanced suit, which is again like the one that they used in the movie. And the interesting thing is you can actually use the suits from the original Raimi trilogy. It's called the web suit. And then there's the Amazing Spider-Man suit, which Andrew Garfield used. That's also another really cool thing. And of course, like you can use the Stark suits. You can use all the suits that were shown in the movie. A lot of suits are shown in the game, by the way. There are at least like 50 something suits. Another of my favorite suits in the game is the suit that what do you call, what's her name, Black Cat, right? So there's a side mission where you are tracking Black Cat, and she's basically stealing things, and she ends up like stealing like hundreds of millions worth of products and things and money and art and wine, really expensive wine and all of that. This is the story of that particular mission, by the way. So in the end, you end up tracking down all of these 12 locations where Black Cat has been. You get these cat plushies basically, and they all go to prison. They're all kept in the evidence lockup of the police, and this actually ends up causing an issue where Black Cat hacks into the police thing. She breaks into the police evidence area and she steals her suit back. Right? She gives up like hundreds of millions worth of loot just to steal her suit back, which is very interesting. And then she gives Spider-Man a suit, and it's like a black suit. It's a really cool black suit. It's one of my favorites, to be fair. It's one of the ones that I use almost all the time. Yeah, so the game is a lot of fun, man. Like I'm still having a lot of fun playing the game. I'm still going to be playing the game quite a bit. There are 3 DLCs. One is a Black Cat DLC, one is a Sable DLC, and I don't remember the other one. But yeah, there's a lot of content, like at least like 50 to 60, 70 hours of content. And I'm sure that even when I stop playing the game, I'm definitely going to do New Game Plus. I'm going to reduce my gaming hours like quite a bit, but I'm definitely going to be playing New Game Plus with it's basically the thing where you play Spider-Man, but you have access to all of the abilities and powers and the suits that you have unlocked in the original game. So you're super powerful. You play the entire game as a super powerful character. And maybe this time I'm going to reduce the difficulty, because I enjoy the game at this difficulty, but I want to see how easy it can be when I'm playing on easy difficulty, especially with all these powers. And maybe like I'll up the difficulty after that. We'll see. Right now I'm playing on the highest difficulty, and I've died quite a few times in the midst of some fights with some random goons, which is kind of annoying, to be honest. Like, you're like, Spider-Man, how come you're dying to these random nobodies? What's wrong with you? So yeah, so that's the thing. I'm enjoying playing Spider-Man, and yeah, I'm a lot better now. Like I did mention in the beginning of this podcast that I was kind of sick, right? Like I had this horrible cold. I still have like a really blocked nose, and I'm not sneezing as much these days. So that means the allergies have reduced. My eyes don't itch at all, which is wonderful. I don't get tired. Allergies are a pain, man. Like they're very annoying to deal with. But I'm glad, like I'm a lot healthier now, and it's wonderful. So yeah, so that's about it. I think I'm gonna end off on that note. This is just gonna be an episode about my love for Spider-Man Remastered. I love the game. I love the web swinging. I love the combat. The mechanics are incredible. And the whole fact that it's kind of difficult, especially in the most ultimate difficulty, that kind of adds to the whole charm, because that means that it takes a little bit of skill, not just pure button mashing to get through enemies, which is really cool. I haven't enjoyed a game like this. Like my most played game is probably Stardew Valley, which is a very chill game. Like the combat, there is an aspect of combat and all in that when you go to the mines, when you go to the unknown mines, and I forgot. Like it's been so long that I haven't. I don't even remember Skull Cabin. When you go to the Skull Cabin, there's a whole aspect of combat, but it's generally speaking a very laid back game. Spiderman, on the other hand, is very intense. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it, and I'm gonna continue enjoying it as much as possible. But at the same time, I think my break is more or less over, because I'm gonna be completing the game, and I'm gonna be getting back to like serious work. I haven't been writing on Substack for a really long time. I haven't worked on my novel. All of these things are like, it's been a month since I quit my job, so I'm gonna have to get back to the habit of creating again. Yeah, cool. I think I'm gonna end the podcast here. Thank you for joining me. I will see you again later. Ta-ta. Peace.